So today we're gonna talk about the dead. My experience with the dead is kinda on and off. It's really something which I practiced for a long time and in which I have a lot of experience. But the work with the dead is always mysterious and it's always overwhelming. But my first work with the dead kinda started as a form of demonic goetic necromancy. I worked with the spirits of Goetia, Boon and Mumur. They are underworld spirits, and so working with them really helped me to practice and master necromancy to a better degree. Also, necromancy is kind of the most draining and difficult of all forms of magic. It is the most devastating if one is not ready for it. So before one starts practicing necromancy, I advise caution and advise that the one should have familiarity with astral senses and psychic self-defense and chakra work. I don't necessarily advise necromancy for beginners because that can be kinda tricky. So when I finished my work with Bjorn and Murmur, I kinda started working with my own ancestors in a relatively profound way, in a deeper way. So, work with my ancestors in their wolf forms was empowering, it was strong, it was invigorating, it was something which deeply helped me to reconnect with myself. But today I will talk about my greatest experience in necromancy, which is indeed work with the tantric master Lavalian Gatisaman. Now, Lavalian Gatisaman is like an ascended master of left-hand path, black magical Indian tantric tradition, and I became familiar with him through Ayan Rock Foundation writings. And he's really deep. So I'm gonna talk about his forms of necromancy, mostly for this video. Because his form of necromancy is unique in the fact that, contrary to the other forms of necromancy I mentioned, Gatisaman is actually suitable for beginners. He will come in a form of a ghost, but he will fundamentally empower you in a way which your spirit and soul can absorb. And so I'm gonna talk and tell you right now 4 meditations with Gatisaman. Now, when we explained how to work with Gatisaman, we will also teach you how to essentially avoid the pitfalls of working with the dead. So I kinda elaborated why I chose Gatisaman for the purpose of this video. But you see a yantra on the screen. And this is a yantra for contacting Gatisaman. And simply draw this yantra in front of yourself in the darkness and visualize dark green energy coming into your aura from the yantra, and just focus on that visualization and do it for days. And that's pretty much, do it for a few weeks, and it's pretty much meditation number 1. Meditation number 2 is a little bit more difficult, a little bit more refined, but it's also easy. You draw this yantra, and after you fall into meditation number 1, which is you visualize the dark green energy coming from the yantra and you literally feel it entering your aura. After that is completed, then trace above your physical body with your index finger into your aura the symbols of the yantra, right? So trace each symbol of the yantra with you here above your body, and then visualize that symbol of the yantra glowing dark green and entering your aura and becoming absorbed into it. The third meditation with Lavalian Gatisaman will kind of be a visualization journey. So you do meditation number 1, right? And after you complete meditation number 1, close your eyes and visualize the yantra in front of yourself. Now focus on kind of black hole opening inside of a yantra within your imagination, within that mental frame. And then behind a portal you will see an Indian man with a turban in a dark, misty, hellish-like environment. Then use your concentration to literally project your consciousness into the black hole and project your consciousness to reach the Indian man with the black turban, who will actually be Gatisama, the Tantric master. And once you practice this visualization enough, you will kind of have a meditation journeys with Gatisama, and it will really benefit your ascension. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna tell you a few tips and tricks with those meditations. So they are kind of heavy, so my advice is to simply don't do them too much, except meditation number 1. So the number 1 should be like a regular practice for all necromancers, but number 2, 3, and 4 shouldn't be, right? They should be like reserved only for people who have a lot of experience with the dead in meditation number 1. So there is one thing I would advise, which is every time you do the meditation, offer Lavalian Gatisama, the Tantric master, a little bit of meat and a little bit of booze. You essentially kinda just do your meditation number 1, and once you feel the energy in your aura, you just lay the offerings in front of the yantra and you say, Lavalian Gatisama, I leave you this offering, guide me on my tantric and necromantic path, and you will definitely feel the elevation of consciousness. Now, as far as necromantic energy, the reason why I don't advise more advanced meditation for early practitioners is because necromantic energy can make you sick in a really profound way. And this is why you should only take it in small amounts for beginning. And then as the time progresses, you should increase the intensity of the practice. Now, once you reach a significant level of work with Gatisama, of practice with Gatisama, and of this necromantic meditation routine, on level 1, 2, and 3, if you ask me, do meditation number 1 for about 6 months, meditation number 2 for about 6 months, meditation number 3 for about 6 months, and then you go for more advanced rituals. So you need like about a year and a half of really strong magical routine to kind of go into advanced stuff. So after you finish all of the stuff I mentioned, then you can like call the ghosts through the yantra. You see, you just draw it and you vibrate the chant Lavalian Gatisama, and then after his energy's presence in a really intense way, just tell him to call hordes of the dead, and he will, and then ask of the dead whatever you want, but they are really good for money, spiritual empowerment, and painful magic. Those are like 3 things they excel at. For other things I am not so sure. So that's pretty much everything I have for today. Like and subscribe and click the bell so you get notified every time we release a new video. Thank you for watching and supporting this channel. We really appreciate you all. You can also support us on Patreon if you want. Check the links in the description, and talk to you soon.